Hey y'all, it's Reagan, your new favorite MP again, and this is Crown Talks, your weekly dose of real talk on health and healing in Black communities. And in 10 minutes or less, we're going to clear up myths about Black health and break down the healthcare questions you wish you'd asked and the ish they should have told you. Because I'm rooting for everybody to be Black, healthy, and crowned. So let's jump straight in. Safe sex can be pleasurable, and pleasurable sex can be safe. And since healthy sexuality is too big of a topic for just one episode, we have a part two. A lot of stereotypes about Black folks and their sexuality causes a lot of people to feel judged and prevents us from being free. And in a lot of ways, makes us even more vulnerable to sexually transmitted infections and HIV. But we can talk about how to have good sex safely. So I had to run it back with episode 1 guests. So welcome back to Krista Thayer and Andrea Moore.
Hi.
All right, let's jump straight into the rundown. What's one sexual health myth you want to bust right now?
Oh, there's so many. Just one?
Using condoms means I cannot feel it.
Okay.
Yeah, PrEP means I'm promiscuous.
Yeah.
Those are good. And since you brought up the I can't feel it, that was one of my questions. I know some folks say they don't like condoms because they can't feel anything. What do you say to
that? You're not using the right size condom. That is the first problem.
And if you need to amp it up because you want to feel more, there is condoms for her pleasure, condoms for his pleasure, rib condoms, studded condoms, vibrating condoms. Get it in, people.
Yes, there's a condom for everything. If you want to look like a glowworm, there are even glow in the dark condoms. Just depends on what you want.
Okay. Now listen, all the Magnum Manglers out here, okay?
Exactly.
That wasn't me. I didn't say it, but just try the advice and then drop down in the comments and let me know if it worked or not. So how do we unlearn shame around pleasure?
Oh my gosh. First off, it comes from the inside. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can't let anyone else tell you you're beautiful. We love compliments. It's an extra piece of validation, but it's not the best one or the only one. You need to look in the mirror, know how beautiful you are. Take some pictures of yourself and go, okay, I see my little booty. I see that. So confidence is one of the most sexiest things, is the sexiest thing you can do.
Yes, most definitely. And I am so with the pictures. I was so encouraging the boudoir pictures, maybe not to be shared everywhere or with everyone, but most definitely because if you don't know how to please you and you don't know what you look like down there, you can't expect anybody else to know.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. What's one safer sex tip people sleep on?
Besides HIV testing, besides knowing your status, besides boundaries and consent, it's a lot. And consent is very important.
Lube? Everybody skips the lube. Everybody skips the lube.
And sometimes they skip the foreplay. I don't know why.
I don't know why you would skip foreplay. Like that's the precursor. That's the warm up.
And let me tell you a little secret. Foreplay is not 30 minutes before sex all the time. Foreplay is the day before, 3 days before, the beginning of the week. You know what I mean? I need to feel that connection sometimes not just right before sex.
Yes, most definitely. There's brain involved to get their emotions involved. You got to have all of it for it to work. And then you won't be complaining about people laying there.
What?
I said, then you won't have to complain about people laying there like planks on a log or knots on a log, whatever they call it.
Bump on a log.
Bump on a log. That's what it is. You're just laying there. You're not doing nothing. Well,
they call those pillow princesses, Andrea.
Oh, okay. That's what they're calling them now. I say it's a bored woman who's not been engaged.
Okay, let's talk lubrication. Maybe oil gel or not.
No,
No.
no, no, no. Please
Baby
leave
oil
the
breaks
baby
down
oil
the
alone.
properties of a condom. That's defeats the purpose. Okay.
The whole purpose.
The only kind of lube you ever need to use is a water-based lube. In sentence.
And one of you also mentioned consent. When did you first learn about consent, and what do you wish you knew earlier?
I've known about consent for a long time, but there is such thing as the fact that you can take consent back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not a personal experience, but I have heard many a client or even on a trial, they were like, they were good with it when we started, but consent is like tea, right? You can offer me the tea and I can be like, no, thank you. If you ask me again and I say, no, thank you, don't ask me again. If I say yes, and all of a sudden I don't want the tea, I'm allowed to not have to drink the tea. Okay.
Yeah. I also think we learn about consent early, but I don't think we learn about the real meaning of consent, because yes, we're told, no means no. If somebody says no, that's fine. But we stop there. And I think we need to start exploring and explaining why no means no, and why that boundary should be respected, and why girls need to feel more empowered with their no, and stop allowing little boys in kindergarten to go popping little girls t-shirt straps and raising up, raising, and he's just being curious, and rubbing that off. It starts there, when we start confronting that behavior up front and saying, no, that's not correct. That's not a little boy being a little boy, because that little boy has to eventually grow up to a man. And if he feels it's okay for him to do it, then he'll feel like it's okay when he's a man.
True. What's one way to ask someone's STI status or HIV status?
When was your last test done? Yes. I mean, you can start with, have you been tested? And if they go up, you say, we need to get tested.
Let's stop here. Let's go get tested.
Okay. Have you ever felt pressure to skip protection, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, I feel pressure to skip protection a lot of the times. And I also feel pressure to say, you don't want me. I'm not who you want. You might want to go play somewhere else. I value my life too much.
All right, let's get back to pleasure. What's one way to make safer sex more fun?
I'm going to say
Explore.
Again.
Explore. By all means, try it. I tell everybody I am a try it once type of person. Try it. If you don't like it, okay. But be safe when you're trying it. Have safe words, of course. Set boundaries ahead of time. Like if I say I'm not liking it, then, make sure your partner is okay and willing to respect that and stop.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to say it again. Foreplay is your friend. And there's so many types. There's so many types of pleasurable things besides intercourse, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you for hanging with me for 2 episodes. Before we go, what's a tip someone who feels nervous about bringing up safe sex with their partner? What's one way you suggest they start that conversation?
Find a community health fair and go get tested. Easy, safest way to do it. No risk involved, because you're just walking around a community health fair, and when you see the table where they're testing and say, hey, let's go see what they got, you'll know where they are, because that's where everybody will be getting the condoms at. Stop by the table and let those community health workers do the talking for you.
YouTube, Google, the right information is also your friend. Send a little video of a couple getting tested and say, hey, would you like to do this? Knowing your status can make things so much more pleasurable.
I love that. And for everyone tuning in, here's your crown check. Pleasure should never come with pressure. Joy and safety will always go hand in hand. This has been your health check-in with Crown Talks. If you love this, follow Cover Your Crown, share, and subscribe to Crown Talks wherever you get your podcast medicine. CrownSecured.
The information provided in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider before making any decisions about your health. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the opinions or positions of any affiliated organizations.